halftime shows.
I need you to know how much I really want to be with you, girl. Oh, yeah. You know I want you back, girl.
That's real. Shout out to Solomon 433, because even during the NBA playoffs, there's a lot of love to be made out there, baby. You know, people love them good tunes. I know Friday night last night had to be something big and special, right? Shout out to all the women out there. Shout out to everybody out there that's doing the right thing. All right, now we get back to the NBA playoffs. My man LeBron James, you know the king gets down. He do what he do, him and his team. They always play hard to go for the goal. Even when they have a scrappy team around this man, he's going to make it work or try the best. But now that he has some pieces that's been added on after the trade deadline in February, there's going to be an acceptance of new championship horizons by people that you didn't think would be on the championship team. Because I'm going to get into the LA Lakers and their dominance in a minute. I want to talk to you about right now, we're going to start taking back to the New York Knicks series. The New York Knicks series, even before that, I'll do you better. Let's start with that Phoenix, this Phoenix and Denver series. Because Phoenix and Denver, this series was supposed to be all of that, right? How you have Jamal Murray getting busy as he always do, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, and just players on the team, like the team is just playing aggressive. Everybody from Bruce Brown to, this one, people wanted to do what they do. And this was when. And to take out somebody like Kevin Durant and a team that's supposed to be high stakes, when how are they looking? A lot of analysts or people were looking past the Denver Nuggets to win. These guys were number one the whole year. They had one of their leaders of the team has been a back-to-back MVP for the last 2 seasons. So now, this year, you got to give the man credit and the team credit. They're fighting like hell like they're supposed to. Everybody's improved. They're leaving it on the floor, as you say. Nikola Jokic, he might be the best big man in the league. Him and Anthony Davis. These guys, I thought DeAndre Ayton was going to be one of them guys. DeAndre Ayton, number 22 on the Phoenix Suns. If y'all don't know who he is, he's the center. He played with Devin Booker and Chris Paul for years now. I think it's about his 4th year. Is it DeAndre Ayton? I think it's 4th year. This young man, I thought he was going to come in as all of that. I mean, he was rated when he first was drafted. Phoenix brought him in. But he's not completely finished developing. He cannot dominate that paint the way that, he was expected to. He came in this league for the past few years. He's been okay. He showed some promise. But DeAndre Ayton is just not who everybody is expecting him to be right now. You can't expect the right now guy to be the future man or the man that's in his prime. You have to specifically allow these guys to develop. And if you don't have time for them to develop, then you have to do what you got to do to build your roster and move these folks around. Phoenix, they kept him around. Who knows if he'll be there next year, because he won't be the only one in the NBA that's on a team right now that may not have a for sure position after you had a for sure position just last year. We're going to see what happens with that, because Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, people thought they were going to win the check this year. Come on now, give it up. If you are an NBA fan, basketball fan, you know these names. Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul. DeAndre Ayton, we ain't going to get into him too much more. We just talked about him. Except for these three names I just mentioned should have been able to take over the games. Chris Paul was hurt early on. But with Chris Paul, this happens to be a pattern or something that keeps on going on. You know? And Chris Paul, he's going to have to learn to do a lot better than he has. Guys got to do a lot better than he's been doing up here. You know? We need Chris Paul to give us a season solidified with a championship. That's all he needs to do. He's a veteran. He's not trash. His skills have declined, obviously, because when you're a veteran in the league, that's what happens. You know, your skills start to develop, and then they decline after you hit your prime, and then you're done. You're not useful to the league anymore. With Chris Paul, it started out as just the man was, maybe some would say, not ready or unprepared. And then through the years, he's become a dominant point guard, playing on different teams around the league now. Even from his days with James Harden in Houston, when we said, okay, this man, Chris Paul, is definitely going to do it now because he has someone there to go get it with him. So you have James Harden, the beard. I think Clint Capella was in the mix at that time also. They had some pieces to make a run, and then it just, that went up in smoke. Now Chris Paul is over here in Phoenix. And this man, Chris Paul, used to be dominating when he was playing on the Hornets now. Okay, this guy, remember who he is. This was Mr., 17 points a game and went up to, I think, 28 at one time. He was doing some numbers. Definitely double-double guy. When you thought of that point guard that you want on your team and to distribute the ball, someone that could take over, that was Chris Paul at one time. And there were rumors at one time that he would have been able to go play with the Lakers and LeBron, just like Carmelo Anthony when he was out there in New York and doing this thing, even though he's not a point guard. All three of them were going to display the dominance of their position and become super friends to win, but that did not happen. And so Chris Paul ended up modern day in Phoenix, and he's responsible for helping to groom, or should we say, help guide these young fellows, because Phoenix is a young team. You have Devin Booker over there, young leader. Kevin Durant, he's a veteran now. And DeAndre Ayton. And a few other pieces that they gave away a lot of their pieces. To be honest, like Mikal Bridges, and they were supposed to keep these guys to build on. However, that wasn't the case. When it came down to it, they wanted to try to win right away instead of realizing what they had. It wasn't a rush to make that trade with Brooklyn to get rid of Kevin Durant because they wanted Kevin Durant last year. You didn't get him last year. Now this year you get him. It's like, what's the difference? What's the problem? The problem is some of these moves are better off done in the off season so that the team has time to build that chemistry, train, and prepare together, instead of having them out there in the middle of the season trying to be more than who they can be at that time, even though that they are great and they have these potential skills to do a lot of things out here in the NBA. Kevin Durant, you take from his days going from OKC to now he's from OKC. He left OKC in the trenches when he should have stayed there and banged it out with Russell Westbrook, let the team become better. They had their thing going on there, and a lot of chemistry was there, except maybe some egos separated, so he went and ran with the Golden State Warriors and won 2 championships. The Golden State Warriors had just swept them, or actually the Golden State Warriors had just damaged them, got past them, won a championship. Next year he's running with them to get 2 championships. They was winning without him, so he didn't really bring all of that much effect to that team because they was a championship team already. It's not as if he went to a team like LeBron has done. He's going to teams that wasn't winning chips and brought chips there. Durant didn't do that. He joined winning teams. Durant joins winning teams. This guy, he's a winner and has the potential to prove that, but he has not shined that way. He came to Brooklyn. The success of Brooklyn was on his shoulders again. Again, he's not a team leader once again, besides Oklahoma City. Because when he was on Golden State, he was not the team leader. That was still Steph Curry's team and Klay Thompson. This is part of the reason why he came to Brooklyn, so he could be his own independent man. He left Brooklyn in a trade, wanted to go last year. They didn't honor it. They honored it this year. He's out there in Phoenix now, and look at what happened. You leave a team that you could have been leading or having a longer run with. Brooklyn made the number 6 seed this year without Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving staying there. When they left, it was about half the season. Brooklyn, these guys that came there, Mikal Bridges, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and the multitudes of players that's still there, they bonded together as a team and they made the playoffs. They didn't win a game in the playoffs. They were swept by Philly, but they made the playoffs. If Kevin Durant or Kyrie would have stayed here with a winning team, who leaves a winning team and you're the leader? So now he gets the curse of Phoenix, fast forward button, and you're not winning with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. You want a ready-made team again, just like the Golden State Warriors was. So I'm not hating Chris Paul, because Chris Paul, he actually gets to relax and not take the heat this time, because we know Chris Paul flops, so things happen to Chris Paul when it comes to winning or crunch time like this in the playoffs. So with Kevin Durant, it's just become a really sad look, because when you left Golden State, Brooklyn was supposed to be your promise and your new territory to win. It was supposed to be a championship team. It was supposed to be a championship team with him and Kyrie Irving and some pieces. They even brought James Harden, and that didn't work. So what does it take to win these days in the NBA? You got to have drive and fierce competitiveness. Say what you want about LeBron. People say he cry, he do this and that. All NBA players cry at some point, or they get aggressive. You got to do what you got to do to win. That man is aggressive too. He plays overall. I used to not be the biggest LeBron fan, but I respect that guy like crazy now. That's what you want in the league. The last of the great, the guys that's going to take it in, not sitting behind some three-point line just trying to shoot all day and hope that you win that way when you was not naturally a great shooter. Pure shooters and great shooters come around once in a while. Other than that, you have guys that's shooting and you're getting 13 points off of 5 for 17 shooting. Who takes 17 shots and scores 13 points? But that's acceptable nowadays, messed up percentages and people taking bad shots because they want to go for the three-point line. So Kevin Durant joins the likes of Chris Paul in Phoenix, and Devin Booker is the one that has to suffer because this man is still playing hard, playing tough. He's leading this team, he didn't ask for Kevin Durant to come there, but I'm sure he wanted to help and had high hopes because this is supposed to be ranked as one of the highest players in the world, one of the best in the world, and he didn't do no more for them than he did for Brooklyn. Got them eliminated in the second round. So Phoenix, they was not going to hold up to Nikola Jokic, who has been balling ever since when he had Nusif Jerkic, with him from the Portland Trailblazers. That was his partner. It was the two of them up front. They had a Twin Tower situation. They didn't win. They broke them up. Nikola Jokic took over the team. And Jamal Murray in the mix, a few pieces, and welcome to Denver. Ready to go and give it. And now they have Bruce Brown from Brooklyn. Really great defensive piece right there, in addition to what they already have going on. So they're going to make them stop. This is going to be a really great series with the Lakers and Denver. I'm glad Denver did get past Phoenix because Denver is a hard-working team, and they will bang on you, and they will take it into the basket also, not just shoot from behind a three-point line. They'll do what it takes to win. And so, respects to them for getting past Phoenix. Now, with the New York Knicks series, I would just say that it's been years since the New York Knicks has even made it to the playoffs. If you're in New York, be for real, keep it 100. When did you see the New York Knicks in the playoffs last? It's been some years, at least a decade. And you take that back to when we had Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire. We got Carmelo Anthony and Amari Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire, he gets frustrated. I think it was game 1 or game 2. And they were playing Boston. And the guy, he breaks his hand. He breaks his hand, punching a fire extinguisher in the hallway, walking through the tunnel. When he's supposed to go to the locker room, however, he didn't just do that. He decided to be aggressive and be angry and punch a fire extinguisher. Bro, you're a professional athlete. You left Carmelo standing. That would have been the most successful last memory that the New York Knicks and Knicks fans would have had if those two had successfully played together. Amari Stoudemire and Carmelo Anthony. So therefore, that didn't happen. We go back to Stephon Marbury time. Marbury was here, he played and did some things. But that wasn't good enough. So the last winning series that the New York Knicks had was back to the Allen Houston in the Latrell Sprewell era. Sad to say. They made the playoffs, but they didn't win since then. You know? And we all know the Knicks haven't had a championship in over 50 years now. It's getting sad. We have the budget. However, the recruiting is not what it should be. The coaching is not all the way what it should be. Ownership needs to stay in their place and let management do what they got to do. And find the missing pieces and put together a program that works. We have Jalen Brunson brought in from the Dallas Mavericks. This man is over here doing his thing. He went for 41 last night. 41. He almost had basically half of the points. Where is somebody else on that team? We got Julius Randle and R.J. Barrett. They couldn't have stepped up with 30 points right there. R.J. Barrett, he's been not the most mediocre during these playoffs. He's actually kind of been playing a little bit more active than Julius Randle. Julius Randle, he was here, he got nervous, he got flopped, he tried. He's around. He's showing some sparks and flares of what he's supposed to be able to do. However, he's not delivering. And this is sad because this is leaving Jalen Brunson out there. This is Jalen Brunson's first time leading a team in the NBA in the playoffs. And he showed up. He didn't tuck his tail or nothing like that. This man went out there representing New York, went on to get busy, and Took us to the second round, something we haven't had in a long time. The New York Knicks taking out the Cleveland Cavaliers, led by Donovan Mitchell. They got guys like Donovan Mitchell, you know, and Darius over there, Evan Mobley's, you know. Cleveland is a threat. So that tells you that the New York Knicks have something working over here. However, we need to improve this system. Something was off here that wasn't happening during the season. Where was that New York Knicks team in the playoffs here? Because surely, sure enough, if we were able to handle the likes of Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, those young guys right there, and they clashing up front, and you mean to tell me now that dudes like Bam Adebayo, who is not playing the most best in the playoffs this year, 2023, and he's a problem for us? He's having his way? What's wrong with the New York Knicks? They not seeing how much people here really want them to win. You're invested in by more than just finance. The fans love you. The fans care about this team. They care about the brand you're supposed to represent. Jalen Brunson, he can come back because we know Jalen Brunson, he has what it takes. Jalen Brunson has what it takes, and the fact that, you know, Jalen Brunson, the man will try to do what he got to do. Jalen Brunson, shout out to you. Next year things will be better, because going out last night was not the plan. We were supposed to go to Miami. Friday Night Lights in Miami, it was supposed to be, and the New York Knicks were supposed to get busy. I mean, we already had the referees cheating and making calls that they were not supposed to, so we already had that against us last night. The least we should have been able to do was pull out of there with a 3-point victory or something. 1 to 3 points. We should have been able to win either way in Miami and be on our way back to New York to play on Monday, instead of just on their way back home here to relax and to unpack. We here in the building trying to keep up and support those teams that we really deal with and that we really, you know, involve ourselves with. But however, when you have guys like Julius Randle, who has the strength and ability, I can't believe that they even compare him in athletic-wise or you know, ability-wise to LeBron, I guess size-wise. But the potential and his action and killer instinct is not there. You know, if that was LeBron on our team instead of Julius Randle, we might have been finished with these dudes in Game 5. Miami wouldn't have got past Game 5. It would have been over. It would have been 4-1. We would have had it wrapped up. It would have been a real good one. So New York lose. There we go, another loss for the city. Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy showed up, they say. They call him playoff Jimmy because playoff Jimmy, he does some things. He shows up. We could have still won against playoff Jimmy, and these guys made their way in from the bottom, from the play-in tournament, just like the Lakers did. And playoff Jimmy showed up. Kyle Lowry, who I never sleep on, but I tell people, look, this guy's a champion. He's always been around productive somehow on winning teams. He's got something with him. He's got something with him. So, this is what it comes down to. Now we know where we have to improve for next year. However, as a Knicks fan, we're tired of saying next year, or this and that. It's the same record we played for the last half a century. You know? We're gonna take a little break, get right back, talking about some things. We're gonna talk about the Lakers and AD. We're really doing some things now. Don Boy 718 back in the building. What's up now? Okay, we just want to touch base basically to remind you that we do have some other powerhouses in the Northeast right here. Once again, the New York Knicks been taken out, and we feel that. In the city of New York, we hurting behind that. Last night, we wake up this morning, we don't want to wake up. We only want to hear Don Boy 718. Don Boy 718 Saturday morning. Other than that, staying under the covers, staying inside the crib all day, smoke, drink, eat, call your friends, tell people how depressing it is. The New York Knicks lost again. However, it wasn't the worst year. It was pretty productive than what we had in a while. So we'll take that for now. However, this cannot be a continuing trend. We've been through enough. A lot of fans been traumatized. We want to win. So, with that being said, we have Boston and Philadelphia. They're still going at it. This is a big matchup. These guys are clashing and banging, shooting and swooping over there. You know, they go into each other's house and getting reckless with it. Boston started out the series, I think it was 2-0. Then Philly made their way back. No, it was 1-1. And series now is tied 3-3 because Boston, after Philadelphia just won Game 5 in Boston, Boston went to Philadelphia and said, hell no, we're going to take this win right here and then bring it back to our house. Because those two cities right there, Boston and Philadelphia, those fans get real crazy. They go off the chain in there. It's like you in the trap house and, you know, it's just lit. You know what I mean? These guys, the Boston Celtics, they have a lot of great history. I know you all know. Shout out to the Boston Bruins, too. They had the most points in any hockey team ever in 1 year this year. They made history. And they was taken out by the Florida Panthers, who's on a lucky streak right now in hockey. We're going to get to that later a little bit, if there's time, if not next week. But back to the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum, first of all, shout out to Al Horford. Because Al Horford, number 42, that man was there for a while, and he has been doing his job. Good veteran. This is his second stint with the Boston Celtics. The veteran who should have never left. He won, and he won, but he did not get over this last hump, which he is going to do with these guys. I think Boston is going to get past Philadelphia. It'll be great if they do because they have the likes and the strength of doing that with Robert Williams III and Al Horford. I think that combination is an upgrade from Draymond Green and Kevon Looney. Okay? This is how I know Boston should have won that chip last year against Golden State in the finals, which Boston is trying to get back to. Joel Embiid and these brothers standing away over in Philly. Because if you have Jaylen Brown playing with Jason Tatum, Al Horford, Robert Williams III, Marcus Smart, and all these guys play defense. That's another thing too. They all play defense and they could all score. Well, Robert Williams III and Al Horford's not there for the scoring. However, you see what the team can do. That team moves. Marcus Smart, he's going to be on any point guard that he plays. And he's going to be out there dishing and swishing. You know, he's improved. Shout out to Marcus Smart. It's a difference between like with Tyrese Maxey and James Harden trying to get busy and giving it their all against Boston because Philadelphia Philadelphia's a good team and all. They have the pieces. However, Boston has the heart and the pieces. And the thing with Philadelphia is dealing with the fact that they have a guy like James Harden over there who's become instantly one of the team leaders, even though you had Tobias Harris over there already playing up under, Tyrese Maxey and Tobias Harris playing up under Joel Embiid. It's Joel Embiid's team. However, Joel Embiid, he needs help. The pieces are there now, so they brought in James Harden via the Brooklyn trade last year, and he's been fitting in. He's had a couple of 40-point games in this series here against the Boston Celtics, and it's been production. It's paid off. However, I don't think that Boston is ready to lay down or play games. So today's game is going to be a real good matchup. This is going to be a clash because Boston wants to go and Philadelphia wants to go, and they're both fighting like cats and dogs out there. I think Boston has the edge because you have a guy like Jason Tatum. Tobias Harris is not a Jason Tatum. Philadelphia will have the edge with Joel Embiid, that big man being there. However, Robert Williams III and Al Horford, they can outwork this man and make him tired. Boston can put the clamps down on him. They have pieces, you know. Joel Embiid, he is the league MVP and he can move. But with the ball in his hand, Philadelphia, they can get a ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals also. Just going through him because he's a dominant force. But that's not going to be enough. They're going to need guys to put in work. Like James Harden. If they stop James Harden, that's going to be a problem. With James Harden, we know can create his own shot, and he can also pass the rock. He's been really moving the ball and getting those assists, getting them dimes, dropping them dimes this postseason. And I think that's because he knows that this is one of his last chances to really win. With this Philadelphia stop that he's at. Come on now. He went here for a reason. He went to Brooklyn to win. It didn't work out, so now he found himself make way to Philadelphia through this trade. And he's trying to give them new life. And Tyrese Maxey, very encouraging. And I think that James Harden, he really likes his new teammate, you know, Joel Embiid, and along with his new team. And these guys are going to fight like crazy too tonight. It's going to be a massive game. It's going to be defense and offense. It's going to be dominance. And whoever breaks away in that opening is not going to stop. However, I think it's going down to the wire. This is game 7. The other 6 games, they were already fighting each other, going tooth and nail. So now game 7, the nitty gritty. Time to get it done. And I think that this can happen. The Jason Tatum, this guy, they've been comparing him to even Kevin Durant. But I think Jason Tatum, he has been playing more better than Kevin Durant. Look at last year when this man took his team up there to the championship. Why didn't Kevin Durant do that in his 4 years with Brooklyn? Or 3.5 because he didn't complete his 4 years in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? There's some things that are unexplainable, and then there are some things that are just obvious right in front of your face. That's all I want to say to you. And if him and Jaylen Brown, these guys that have less experience and they have the heart and skills in the goal compared to a Kevin Durant and Kyrie, well, you figure it out right there. I mean, it's plain to see. The proof is right in front of your eyes. This year narrows down to a year of surprises. Boston and Philadelphia, those were 2 top-ranked teams. I think they were the 2 and the 3 seed because number 1 was Milwaukee. Milwaukee was knocked off by Miami. And then you had Boston number 2, Philadelphia number 3, and the Knicks. I believe the Knicks had the the 4th seed. They got the 4th. Cleveland 5, and then Brooklyn Nets with 6. Shout out to Boston. I think Boston is going to edge them. They're going to be at home. That Boston crowd is loud, just like Philadelphia, and that's like gas for the tank, an unleaded amount of fuel, and we're going to see what happens with that. Now, the King, LeBron James, right? They call him King James because this man, he commands and demands his respect. Go out there and do what it is on the basketball court. Anybody around him is likely to get better, healthier and stronger. And what he's been doing out there in LA with AD, it has been phenomenal. It has been breathtaking because these guys have come from below the trenches to come up and do their thing. They wasn't even in the playoffs. They came in through the play-in, made their way through the play-in, and worked their way up to now the Western Conference Finals. Teams going like Golden State, which they knocked off, Sacramento Kings, big dog teams that were already there and had a solidified position. Now they playing the number 1 team in the league, the number 1 team in the West, the Denver Nuggets. This is going to be a banging clash because LeBron and Nikola Jokic, they're going to be, making the NBA great again. Because this Denver team and this LA team, it seems like they both are going to fight to the end. These last 4 teams that are really around seem like they're going to do good because playoff Jimmy, if you're really going to, win against my New York Knicks, the least you can do is fight hard and try to go as far as you can go. Fight with that heart. Because Boston or Philly, whoever gets out of this, they're going to come for you. But with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, don't forget about they supporting squad. I mean, Austin Reeves, D-Lo, which is D'Angelo Russell, they have a couple of pieces over there that's going to be really hard to mess with, really tough to mess with. Especially now when you have players like Walker on the Lakers that you don't know if and when he's going to just spark or get hot. Or give you a 13 to 18 that you don't know about that's there. LeBron James still has what he had before, maybe a little slow on some things, but still very accurate. Still very accurate, and it's like he hasn't missed a beat. And he's giving these young guys, trouble, big games, splashing on them every time, no problem. So now that he has a team, they reshaped that team from last year, early in the beginning of this season before the trade deadline. So they had this new team which they put together. Everybody learned this chemistry, started playing together. A team can get put together during the season and then gel. It depends on how these grown men get there and become comprehensive with the program, how they get along with teammates, communicate, and strive to be better. If you're going to go play with LeBron James, you know that this man's going to have you on some kind of strict program or encouragement to be better. Him and AD, you got them in the locker room. These guys are going to be there encouraging you to win because these guys are winners. Anthony Davis, he's looking almost like he was looking in New Orleans here. This guy's putting up numbers. He's having like 20-20s and 5 blocks. This guy is on. This guy is lit. He's doing his numbers. The encouragement is there. Him and LeBron are sharing the light in LA, and it's working for them. I heard somebody say thought that LeBron was trying to take some of AD's light out in LA, but I don't see how that's possible. LeBron is LeBron already. AD is known. So these two are not letting egos affect them, and they're playing together very effectively. and they're bringing these other young guys up and their teammates and showing them what has to be done. And these guys are showing up because you have to show up and show out in order to win. And that's what they're doing. So, I mean, Steph Curry and these guys, okay, you have 4 championships. It wasn't meant for that 5th one right now this year. Klay Thompson was hurt. Draymond Green wants to fight with everybody. Literally every series, and something's going on with Draymond this year. The guy's getting tired, you know. I'm like, you can't go out there and just play bully basketball. It's a whole game to be able to play out there. And so it didn't work out for the Golden State Warriors. Jordan Poole, he wasn't there every night, but he was showing up in a few games. Kevon Looney, they played as a squad, and they did what they did. However, the Lakers came out on top because the Lakers had more fight in them, more determination. That plus the goal, the green light to make it happen. Every second counts on that basketball court. And the Lakers came out winning. So I think that LA and Denver, this is going to be a really great series, and it's going to break down really well. Don't play no games. Don't play no games when it comes to this. The only games you play is show no mercy games until that buzzer sounds off and them 48 minutes turn to 0-0-0. You know what I mean? If you don't, you better find out. I'm gonna predict right now, as far as LA and Denver going at it, this is gonna be a beautiful series. I wouldn't be surprised in Denver getting past the Lakers. However, it looks like the Lakers will get past Denver. However, it's not going to be easy because neither one of these teams are easy runovers. They both play defense and they're on the West Coast. They both can score. They have players that can dominate. But I would pick the Lakers in 6 or 7. For Denver to win, you might have to go 7. Because LeBron and these Lakers are not going to give up. And on the East, Philadelphia, Boston, I'm going to hope and say that Boston should pull out of this overall. I'm looking at Boston winning that, going on to the Eastern Conference Finals and dominating Miami. Miami's going to fight. So I'm going to say Boston in 6 on that one. And LA and Boston revival in the finals. And when we get to that, I'll break that down at that point. Shall this happen? But for now, I think it should be Boston and Miami in the Eastern Conference Finals. And we already know that's going to be the LA Lakers and the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals. I was going to fill you guys in a little bit more on some MLB, some baseball talk. However, what I will say is right now, we're going to do more of that next week. We're going to do that next week. Right now, I will tell you that Tampa Bay is leading and running the American League right now. And in the National League, you haven't heard this in a while, the Atlanta Braves are doing their thing. With the New York Mets back there in 3rd place in the National League East. We're going to touch on that and where these guys should be and how horrible the Yankees have been playing lately. They're over 500, but for what we need them to do, they're not doing it right now. So we're going to cover that next week and get into this more of what we can expect in the Major Leagues Major League Baseball right now, and we get into what's going to look good in the NFL, and finish up with our NBA playoff talk. Stay up though. I hope y'all ain't bent already. It hasn't been that long, so y'all should not be on like cup number 5 just yet. I know I'm talking some lethal potent stuff over here. This type of shit that I have you know, like, that's the truth. You know, have your blood pumping in your veins, but yo, it's a beautiful Saturday out there. It started out cloudy though. When I came out early this morning, it was cloudy because that's that early morning weather. How many of y'all see that early morning weather when you're going to work or going out early in the morning before the day opens up later on? Beautiful day. We're going to get right back to taking a break. We're going to end it off like that. A little more Solomon 433. See y'all next week. Next Saturday. It's going to be beautiful too because I'll be here. I'll be up. I want y'all to be up with me. And next week, we should see the difference in this series with the Lakers and Denver because that's going to be really high energy, I think. A lot of clashing and banging. And then we'll see what happens with Boston and Miami when Boston get past Philadelphia tonight. Other than that, in hockey, oh my gosh, the Florida Panthers, these guys are just having themselves some fun in the NHL. I'm like, is this a video game or this is real life? These guys are running through teams. First of all, how you take out the Boston Bruins, who was having a record-setting season. They made history this year. And then the Florida Panthers comes along and knocks them out in the playoffs in the first round at that. Go on to the second round and goes up 3-0. They're going to take care of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Those are two prominent organizations that this Florida Panthers team is smashing on. And the Seattle Kraken, I'm hoping that maybe the Dallas Stars put a stop to Tkachuk in them. Because Tkachuk and the Seattle Kraken, they're coming out of nowhere trying to do their thing. And so we'll see what happens. The Rangers were taken out by the Devils. And I see Carolina, they were giving the Rangers quite a time. So, you know, we'll get into some of that talk next week also. Stay tuned. Another beautiful, beautiful day we had. Another beautiful show with Don Boy 718. Peace, love, respect. Sports is life. Peace.